Terry Swanson. Okay, why don't we get started here? The meeting of the State Board of Investment will be called to order.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I'd like to move approval of having you chair the meeting today, if that's okay with everyone.
Okay.
I'd like to second that motion.
Okay, there's a motion to chair the meeting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, the first order of business is approval of the minutes from the December 11, 2013 meeting.
Madam Chair, move approval of the minutes.
Okay, Secretary Ritchie has moved approval of the minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Why don't we wait 1 second here? We have lost the governor.
Governor should be in this one.
Yeah, I'm on it.
There he goes.
I keep getting down from what's called the deal.
Okay. Give us 1 second here, we're just fixing the
Bridge is open now.
technology. Okay, all right, we should be ready to go. We just moved approval of the minutes, and the next order of business is the report from the Executive Director, Mr. Perry.
That's Madam Chairman, members. Under tab A, we have our financial results. As you see on the first page, our long-term objectives, we continue to be ahead of exceeding our composite index for the past 2 years, and we continue to provide a real return over the past 20 years. Turn to the next page. In the fourth quarter of 2013, the assets grew by 5.4%. Our asset mix is now closer to target. We're a little bit underweighted in bonds as a result of bonds being allocated to the uninvested portion of alternative investment. And you can see at the bottom of the page that for all reporting time periods, we are above our deposit index. For the quarter, our domestic stocks, international stocks, and bonds were all above the deposit index, and we had a nice healthy return for alternative investments. As of the end of the year, we were approaching total assets under management of $74 billion. During my report, under tab B, we've attached our budget and travel, and everything appears to be in order. We recently completed the financial audit. At some point that will be distributed. There was one finding against this that was more of an accounting or legal in nature. We labeled a couple of transactions as contributions and withdrawals where they should have been labeled as rebalancing. We have revised the security program, so that's all fixed, and there's no damage done. We also have, as appendices, the updates on CBN terminal. Legislatively, at the last meeting, the board approved or gave staff authorization to proceed with legislation to change the authority or the mix of assets offered under supplemental investment plans. What we're proposing is that instead of having specific options named in the legislation, that the board be authorized to determine what the options will be. We think this will provide for greater flexibility. We said that we would bring a bill back to you, which appears as Appendix F in my report. We would bring the language back to you with the final approval of this meeting. And so I'm asking if the board would approve going ahead and seeking a change of the statute.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I'd like to move approval of the language as presented.
Secretary Ritchie moves approval of the language. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Mr. Perry.
A couple of other legislative items of note. We have been working with the Teachers Retirement Association to help them with the investment authority and responsibilities if there is a merger of the Duluth and St. Paul Teachers Association. I believe that will be so Also, you may have heard that there is a rule being presented to offer small private employers or self-employed people the opportunity to participate in a retirement plan. The FBI has been named in the language to have the investment authority over this. There'd be a separate board that would be created to determine how this would be administered. We're anxious to see how this goes forward. We think the language will require a report to be done by the end of the fiscal year. Next, we have a request to approve the 529 plan. This is something that we have joint authority with the Office of Higher Education. We sent out an RFP. We got 3 submissions back. Our staff and the staff of OHE have reviewed and we're making a recommendation. Commissioner Covenant and I have reviewed and concur. Recommendation is to renew the contract with TIA as the vendor. We think that we will have better administrative fees in the new contract, and we think that given all the circumstances, this is the best proposal so asking the
Okay, recommendation is a 5-year contract with TIA Prep. Is there any discussion?
So moved.
Okay, Secretary Ritchie moves the staff recommendation. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries.
Our next item, we are asking for another change in the supplemental investment plan. One of the options offered in the supplemental investment plan is the income share account, which is a balanced plan. It has 60% allocation to stocks, 35% to bonds, and 5% cash. The stocks are managed by our domestic equity pool, and currently the bonds are managed internally by staff. It's a small portfolio, about $106 million. What we are requesting is that we transfer the management from staff and have the exposure to fixed income in this portfolio be provided by our bond pool. We think this will provide for some efficiency. We're doing some management changes within the office. We think we may be coming back in the not too distant future also with the other internally managed portfolios, but now we're requesting approval to make changes to the share.
Any discussion on the staff recommendation?
Move approval.
Auditor Otto moves approval of the staff recommendation. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries.
I don't believe that there are any litigation.
There is not.
Lastly, we have a couple of staff announcements. At the end of the day, 2 long-term members of the State Board of Indvestments staff, John and Debbie Greenmill, who worked for the State Board for 34 years, will be retiring, and we wish them well. I think they're here in the afternoon. And in anticipation of another retirement at the end of next quarter, Jim Heidelberg, who's the current Assistant Executive Director, I have named Leanne Stagg as the Chief Operating Officer, which will be at deputy level, to start a transition period with Jim at the end of the month. I think Leanne's here too.
state of Minnesota, appreciate it very much.
Thank you. Can we note your comments in the minutes?
Absolutely, so noted. I don't think we need a motion for that.
Amen.
All right.
Maybe goes on minutes and then.
Oh,
So that'll be our last exercise.
Okay, sounds good.
Question. So are we going to see Mr. Howard again at the next meeting, or he's going to be?
Yes, Jim will be with us until shortly after the fiscal year, if he's in the country. For our briefings next time, both Jim and me will be on.
Okay,
And that's all I have for my report this morning.
very good. I think the next order of business on the agenda is the report of the Investment Advisory Council, and for that I would call on Mr. Bailey.
And Chair, members of the board, if you turn to tab C, the Investment Advisory Council met a weeks ago, February 18th. We considered managed performance for the period ending December 31st, and at this point, we're going to know recommendation changes. We did have a number of other items that we addressed during the meeting. We held a roundtable conversation on various private debt investment strategies. Staff periodically will organize these discussions, and in this case, staff made a presentation to the IC, and we had an outside speaker come in, and then we spent some time discussing the topic. At times, certain economic conditions make it favorable to make loans to large corporations on a private basis, not publicly traded service investments. Currently, the SBI does some of those investments already, but we discussed some further extensions of that, something called direct lending. And I think the staff was, in a sense, looking for feedback from the IC, whether that was something that was worthwhile pursuing in terms of potential future investments. And the IC has had, some members have had experience with that, others have not done in their portfolio, but it's certainly an interesting enough investment proposal that we thought we certainly recommend the staff continue to pursue the topic and bring that back to the IC at some future date. If you recall too, at the last meeting, I mentioned that we would be spending a little bit of time talking about the role of the IC, and I conducted a terribly survey, but sent out a set of questions to all of the members of the IC and asked for their responses, and I said I keep it confidential. And so the comments today will just be summarizing what I've heard from them. But I thought it'd be of interest to you to understand what the IC views its role and some of the strengths and weaknesses of the organization. And I think it was clear that everyone on the IC views us as a provider of high-level advice and consultation, both to the board members themselves, but also the staff. And I think it was also clear that everyone wanted to focus on key policy issues, investment strategies or asset allocation, but again, trying to avoid, in a sense, getting down into the weeds where really it's the purview of staff. I think the strengths, the IC feels strongly that the investment expertise of the members of the IC, the independence and the apolitical nature of the group just makes it a good body to be able to provide feedback to the staff and to the board. I think there was a comment in terms of weaknesses that there was a tendency sometimes to actually get down into the weeds. If you look through the briefing book that the IC receives, there's a lot of detail related to budgets and so forth that really don't directly affect the IC, and while we don't spend a lot of time covering them, there are some comments that perhaps are material in some way, and again, focus on some of those key issues. I think one of the key functions that the IC performs for the board is something that generated a lot of discussion, and that was actually manager reviews. And I think all the members of the IC recognize that the board is looking to the IC to provide some sort of confirmation of staff recommendations on manager changes and new managers and so forth. And I think everybody's agreeing with that. But I think it's also important to understand that the IC members themselves don't interact with these managers on a frequent basis. It may be that there's some overlap. Target may have a particular manager that the SBI has as well, and I can provide a lot more feedback on that. But for the most part, we don't see those managers on a regular basis. So when it comes to trying to do due diligence on the performance of the existing managers or make recommendations on future managers, I think it's important to understand how we interact with those organizations. I think a number of the IC members commented to me that probably more important than seeing the managers, with new managers will have a 20 or 30 minute meeting, and there's not a lot you can learn in 20 or 30 minutes. And many of the members commented to me that it would be much better to essentially interview the staff about how they went about making the selections and understanding the process for that particular manager, as opposed to, again, meeting with the manager for just a brief period of time. So I think that's something that probably bears some further discussion about how we can make that process more efficient and more useful to you. I think it's an ongoing discussion, but I would like to take that up with you deputies and the staff. So, key policy issues, I think, were the other thing that I requested people talk to me about, and I think they would be surprising to the funded status of the pension fund, the investment strategies in a low interest rate environment, active versus passive management, the types of bond holdings that the SBI are all of I think importance to the members of the IC, and I think it's something that will all of those inputs as well. So I'm sure we'll come back to the ideas in the future. The other questions that I asked were more how were the meetings run, were they quick enough, slow enough, so on and so forth. Everybody seemed pretty happy with the quarterly meeting pace and the 2 or 3 hour sessions. That's my brief report. Be happy to answer questions.
I would just say thank you for taking the time to take that global look. I know yourself and the members of the IAC put in a tremendous amount of time as community volunteers, and certainly appreciate that and think it's wise and prudent to take a global look every now and then at how things are running. So thank you for that. Are there any questions or discussion?
Well, if not, I'll move on to the alternative investment report. That's over tab D. And there were actually 3 managers that we discussed, 3 investments on alternative asset level. There was Energy Minerals Group. They have a fund too, as a resource manager, and then there were 2 secondary partnership managers. That is, managers that invested in funds, additional funds that have been sold to them by other investors. Lexington Capital Partner for Fund 8 and Strategic Partner for Fund 6. Again, all these are follow-on investments. The SBI already has investment organizations, and we recommended that $200 million be or concurred with the staff recommendation. $200 million be allocated to Energy Minerals Group Fund 3 and $150 million to Lexington Capital Partners Fund 8 and $150 million to Strategic Group Fund 6.
Madam Chair, I'd like to move all 3 for approval.
Secretary Ritchie moves approval of the first of the 3 recommendations. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion
And
carries.
thank you. There was one other item, Madam Chair, that was the related to a fund called Public Pension Capital Fund. This has been brought to you several times before. It's a relatively innovative operation, and I think the IC and the staff both are very on some of the ideas that this fund is putting forward. It's taken well over a year to get the fund up and running, and SBI has committed, as a statutory can, up to 20% of the total capital raised. That was initially $500 million. I think the fund has moved down its target to $400 million, but written in the authorization, the fund would raise $500 million. And the staff has recommended that target ought to be lower than $400 million. And then SBI's commitment will be the greater of $100 million.
Madam Chair.
Secretary Ritchie.
So move approval of that recommendation.
Secretary Ritchie moves approval. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries.
That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Bailey. I believe under other items, we have a couple of students representing the Great Brook Bonds Group who have asked for 2 or 3 minutes to make a presentation. If you
We have 3 of them, and hopefully we won't take more than 3 minutes. You can sign them if you want.
Okay, that sounds good. Well, if you
Okay,
want to
come on up. I guess I can just stand up here at the end of the
move chairs
table.
around.
Great.
Why don't we move some chairs up to the front of the table and
Thank you.
you're welcome. Thank you very much. Why don't you just come on up. Welcome. come, if you could just all go around, maybe starting over here on the left, and tell us your name.
My name is Elena Modal.
Okay,
I'm Alexa Graventy.
okay.
I'm Sam Bowen.
Okay, well, welcome to the State Board of Investment. Please proceed.
All right. Thank you, Governor Davey and members of the board. My name is Elena Modal, and I am a freshman at the University of Minnesota majoring in political science. Along with many of our classmates, we are aware of the situation in Israel and Palestine and understand its history. We have studied the politics of the Middle East, and we are aware of the European colonial project that became the State of Israel, as well as the continuing human rights abuses of Palestinians. We condemn these abuses.
My name is Sam Bowen. I am a sophomore in political science at the U of M. We also understand our complicity in those abuses as American citizens and as Minnesotan citizens and taxpayers. Investment in Israel bonds is a direct loan to the State of Israel to do whatever it wants with these funds. From Israel Bonds' own website, it is clear that the bonds are used for illegal and inhumane purposes.
My name is Alexa Graventy, and I am also a sophomore in political science at the U of M. Minnesota must divest from Israel bonds and end its complicity in Israel's human rights abuses. We will continue to bring this message to you, the State Board of Investment, as well as to legislators, and most importantly, to the citizens of Minnesota. Thank you for listening to our statements.
Okay, well, thank you for all being here today. It's great to see young people who are engaged in the government, so we appreciate you coming today and taking time out of your busy schedules to join us. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
Okay. Is there any other business to come before the State Board of Investment? All right, seeing none, the meeting is now adjourned.